Hey guys, it's Dan, your host, your Dan's Reviews, and today I'm back for another video for the Walking Dead universe, and in today's video we're going to be doing our first Q&A video after the premiere of The Walking Dead, The Ones Who Live. We're also going to discuss the first episode and how this felt like movie 1 of the trilogy of films. Alright guys, this one's going to be doing a review today, this one's going to be doing a review for the Walking Dead universe, and in today's video we're back with another Walking Dead Q&A video. Obviously we're Tuesday now, so I figured it was a good time to go ahead and do a Q&A for the Walking Dead universe after episode 1 of The Ones Who Live. Obviously we're going to go ahead and go over your thoughts, some questions, stuff like that, and go over some cool stuff for episode 1. So, obviously guys, this has been a really fun few days. We've had the return of Rick Grimes. We had a great first episode. I know a lot of you guys seem to enjoy it. I've been watching a lot of reactions and reviews, but now we're going to go over some of your questions and comments based off the first episode. But I wanted to get into a bit of a topic before we do that, which is that episode 1, in my opinion at least, and I was kind of thinking about this over the last couple of days, and I was kind of like, this feels like a movie, doesn't it? It feels like a, high production, movie, military type movie, stuff like that. And to be honest with you, I kind of feel like that was done intentionally, because obviously if you remember back in 2018, when Rick left the original Walking Dead, Scott Gimple did mention that we were going to get a trilogy of films, which was going to be 3 movies, and they were going to take place, a few years in between each other, stuff like that. And I honestly feel like the concept of this first episode might have honestly been the concept of the first movie, to be honest, because I feel like the stuff that's going to happen after this first episode with Michonne and the stuff that's about to happen with, Rick and all his, interactions with some of the other characters, that's definitely probably just some other, stuff for the show that we're about to see. This first episode, though, with Rick turning into a soldier, meeting Donald, going over the resistance, revealing the bombing of, Atlanta and LA and stuff like that. I feel like a lot of that was the concept of the first movie, to be honest. The only thing I feel like that may not have been the case is the fact that Michonne was in this. I feel like Michonne would have only appeared in the second movie. At least that's my opinion. Maybe I'm wrong in that. Maybe they would have, had Michonne appear near the end of the first movie as well, too. You never know. But I do feel like, and, a lot of people say, we were supposed to get 3 movies and we're only getting 6 episodes. Like, to be honest with you, I feel like we got the first movie. I really do. I feel like that first episode is what that movie was going to be. Probably a little bit more extended. They probably would have drawn it out for about 2 hours. So maybe it's even better that we didn't, maybe it's even better that we got the show. And to me, at least, I've said this from the jump, I think the show was a better idea to begin with. Give it a high budget, which is what they did with this show, and, give us 6 episodes, plus adding in Michonne probably a lot earlier than they would have, added her in. I understand it completely. I think it's a really, really great idea. But maybe that's just me. So the first one for today comes from a user who says that, Dan, do you think that it is cool that Donald was responsible for the bombing of LA and Atlanta? What do you think about him being responsible for that the entire time? Now, that is definitely a very, very interesting kind of development that we learned about in this episode, is that it sounds like Beale had nothing to do with it. It sounds like it was all Donald, it was all Okafor, who went in there and was forced to do this job and, of course, killed 4,000 Marines, and it was like a very big deal and stuff like that. Well, I will say this, it's a really good twist, and I think that's why I like it, is because Ones Who Live so far, and this is the thing that I appreciate already about the first episode, is that it was very unpredictable. Besides, like, minor spoilers that I knew about Rick getting his hand chopped off and stuff like that, like, I knew that. But aside from that, I pretty much had no expectations. I had no big, expectations for this show. And when they threw stuff like that at me, I was like, wow, that's really crazy. So, I had no idea Donald, of all people, was going to be behind that, And I like the weight of it. I like the weight of what it does. And going into the next one from Dr. Smarty Pants.
What, Eugene? See, all I really want to know is if you are a smarty pants.
Dan, what do you think about the fact that Okafor killed his wife in the process of the bombing? Also, do you think that Beale, has any kind of remorse or anything like that? No, I don't think so at all. Here's the thing, though, is that, Okafor killing his wife in the process is pretty messed up because, not only do we now get a perspective of Shane and Lori and Madison and Alicia and Nick and all them, but we also now, because it kind of adds to those scenes now in the older seasons of Fear and the older seasons of Walking Dead, but it also gives us more kind of knowledge now, because it's like, okay, we know this entire time now that Okafor was behind this. Okafor was in those choppers, you know? So it creates a really insane kind of reveal, and it creates kind of an insane, like, just POV, you know, when you go back and watch those old episodes. And that's what this show should have done, you know? I heard many people saying, like, no, I don't want CRM, anything involved with the old stuff, leave it be, it's don't do anything with it, you know? And for those people, I gotta highly disagree. When you can add lore to an older product, even if it's not planned, as long as it's not a plot hole, I think it's a great idea. I think it's a fantastic idea. And that's the thing, is that they're adding lore to old seasons while also keeping your interest in new stuff. It's really great, and I love how they put it together. It's a great way to call back, but it's also a great way to reference and, you know, kind of give extra lore to the current day storylines and the old storylines. You know, as long as it's not a plot hole, I don't see any issue with it. I think it's a great reveal, and I think it's very, very well done. The next one comes from Zaz, who says that, Dan, do you think that Beale is still behind the creation of the outbreak? Do you think that Beale is still responsible for the outbreak, seeing how it's revealed that he was not in the bombing of Atlanta? Do you think he's at least responsible for the outbreak, so it kind of adds something to his character? Also, do you think that Once You Live is a good jumping point for anybody that has never seen The Walking Dead, and they can jump on board and watch this? Well, I gotta tell you, if somebody watches this without watching The Walking Dead, all I'm saying to that person is you're missing out. I mean, honestly, like, you are jumping into a crazy franchise with a crazy amount of TV shows. Yes, I would say you could, especially because of the way that episode 2 promo was kind of, you know, advertised, like, my name is Michonne and I'm looking for my husband. You know, it's like, oh man, okay, so you're trying to draw people in. I can see that. And you know, to me, it's not a bad idea at all. I think it definitely, you know, if you want to get views for your franchise, if you want your franchise to succeed, you're going to try to make it as open as you want to make it to allow new viewers in. It definitely, marketing-wise, makes sense why they're doing it. Here's the thing, though, is that on the flip side, you're also missing out on a great TV show called The Walking Dead, where you get 11 seasons of knowledge and 9 seasons of knowledge on what this guy, Rick Grimes, is all about, you know? So I highly advise that you'd watch The Walking Dead. I don't think this is a bad jumping spot if you want to try Walking Dead and you don't really want to go through 11 seasons, you just want to kind of see what it's like. Try this out, sure, but you're also going to be a little bit lost because you're going to be like, okay, so why is this guy captured and why is this woman going to look for it? Like, there are pieces of the puzzle that you're going to be missing, for sure, but that'll probably influence people to watch the original Walking Dead, right? If Rick and Michonne connect with people here, then you can go back and watch The Walking Dead and learn all about them, you know? I guess that's a fine way of looking at it. But, you know, it's not a recommended thing, I would say, but it's a fine way of looking at it. Although I do say this, I do look at Ones Who Live as a sequel to The Walking Dead. You know, Daryl and Dead City are kind of just like little side spin-off shows. This feels like an actual continuation. This feels like an actual, like, if there was ever a season 12 of any kind, this would be it, you know, which again is really cool. You know, I think that's definitely something that a lot of us have been asking for. I think this show is delivering on that idea, and, you know, again, it's really cool because now we're finally getting to learn exactly what's going on with Rick, exactly what's going on with Michonne. We're about to see that in episode 2. So it's pretty cool. But again, you could jump on it, yeah, for sure. But you know, not recommended, I guess is what I'm more so saying. You should watch The Walking Dead first. And well, in terms of Beale, yeah, I've said this from the get-go. I think Beale is responsible for something to do with the outbreak. I just feel like his character has some sort of importance for why he's such a big deal and why he's responsible for so many lives, you know? I feel like there's a background to him that we're eventually going to learn where it's going to go into that in better detail, and we're actually going to find that out. I don't know if it's going to be in this season or if it's going to be in some other, you know, show spinoff, you know, or if it's going to be, you know, something else. I don't know. But I feel like we're going to learn about that at one point. I know that Scott Gimple has mentioned that in the finale of this season, there's a huge reveal that changes the Walking Dead universe forever. So I wouldn't be surprised if in the finale, Beale, you know, reveals that in some major sequence. And it's like a huge, you know, just, oh my God moment. And everybody's in shock. You know, I think that'd be great. here I am, predicting it, so maybe I won't be as shocked, but, I don't know. I still think it'd be a really cool idea. I know some people may say it's a goofy idea. It's kind of a generic trope. I don't think so, because here's the thing. Is it not as goofy as Daryl somehow managing to get to France on a boat? Like, this franchise is not always realistic. You have to bring that into accountable, and I've kind of learned to accept that over the last couple years, with the resurrected Troy Otto, getting hit in the head 2 times with a hammer and then coming back, and you've got Daryl that's like floating around in France, sometimes you have to kind of just turn your brain off and watch it, that's kind of what Walking Dead has turned into, whether you like it or whether you don't like it. I'm fine with it because it's based off a comic book, you know what I mean, but I know not everybody is. So to me, if Beale's the creator of The Walking Dead, if he's behind the virus, and, here's the thing, I don't think that's as far-fetched as Daryl winding up in France. So you could easily do something like that and make it a huge reveal, and I would love it. I would absolutely love it. I think it adds importance to Beale's character. I think it would add to his, kind of role and stuff like that, and absolutely, definitely. Next one comes from Swam, who says that, Dan, do you think we'll ever get the 25-year time skip where Judith is older, and, we get to see everything like that in the actual TV universe? Now, we could see that. I don't know when they would do it, whether it's in another show or if it's in The Ones Who Live at one point. I don't think we'll do a big, 25-year time skip for a while, though, because we got Daryl Dixon. He has to have his reunion with Rick at one point. We got Morgan. He has to have his reunion with Rick at one point as well, too. And, Negan and Maggie, a lot of these people need to see Rick again. So I don't see them skipping all these years and making Rick old, before we get that. But maybe at the end of Rick's story, maybe you could do it then, and then you could go into a totally new vibe for the franchise with an older Judith and, an older, I don't know who else, I don't know if you want to have old man Daryl. I mean, he's already kind of starting to be old man Daryl, I'm not going to lie. He's got, he's like late 50s now, I think, but, I will say this, it's definitely started to become really, really cool to see everybody kind of getting older and everybody starting to become very mature, like Judith and stuff like that already, so seeing Rick's reaction to what Judith is going to be like is going to be really cool, let alone now. But what is Judith going to be like in like 25 years? That's going to be really cool to see. But no, I don't think that time skip's happening for a while. The next one comes from Big Bang Theory, who says that, Dan, what do you think about the dream sequence between Rick and Michonne? Do you think that anything about that has anything to do with Gimple saying that there's a lot of philosophy type of lines and stuff like that? Yeah, probably, because that dream is kind of showing you, which I don't know about y'all, but I personally really enjoyed those dream sequences, because not only is it an alternate life, not only do you get to see Denai and Andy back on screen again in the first episode, which is something that I'm sure a lot of people did not expect to see, but you also get to see what Rick is wanting to live versus what he is. And she's even like, oh, stop that. Stop talking about how your life is a misery and you're trapped. You're not trapped. We can make this whole damn world ours if we want to, And then she burns away as Rick burns the phone and the letters and stuff like that. It's very symbolic, and to be honest, a lot of the times when Gimple does symbolic and like kind of like writing like that, I usually kind of roll my eyes, I'm not gonna lie, because a lot of the times he doesn't do it right. But I like how he did it here, and it probably has something to do with the fact that Denai and Andy, wrote that scene, because apparently a lot of their writing was involved in this first episode, and you can definitely tell. So yeah, no, I definitely think that that dream sequence, from what a lot of people have told me, it's people are kind of mixed on it. I love it because I think it's very well kind of told. It kind of sets up a little bit of where Rick's at mentally in the real world versus what things could be like. And the tone shift is really good, and I think it works, and also to get those actors back on screen together, so you don't have to wait until, like episode 3 or something, because episode 2 is mostly a Michonne episode, you kind of get that charisma between the two of them immediately in the first episode, which I think is a brilliant idea to kind of, hook people in right away. So yeah, I think it's very well done. And the last one comes from Jon Snow, who says that, Dan, I felt like the reunion between Rick and Michonne was a little bit too coincidental, and if I feel like it could have been done in a better way. What are your thoughts? I disagree. No, I absolutely disagree. Here's the thing, for me at least. I'm actually the very opposite of that. I think it was the best way you could have done it. And this is why I say that, is because if they would have gone for a moment where, I don't know, Michonne sees Rick from a distance and Rick sees her from a distance, and they start running to each other slow motion as this nice music builds up. I don't think that's The Walking Dead at all. I really don't. And how else can you really do it besides an action sequence? If you're not going to make it a corny reunion, then how else are you going to do it? Walking Dead is one of the more gory, out there, gruesome shows you'll ever watch. And episode 1 was a very dark and gritty episode. I love the idea that Michonne and, her people and all this stuff are the ones that took down that helicopter. Because then you get extra stuff. It's like, okay, so now Michonne's been through some stuff. We're obviously going to learn about that in episode 2. So now the question is that, how do we get these two characters together? Well, how about we do it in a realistic way? Rick is with the CRM. He can't break away from them. He can't do anything else. So the only way to get that reunion to happen is by Rick to do a mission with the soldiers. And she would obviously be attacking these soldiers because they're CRM. So the only way for them to possibly have a reunion is by that happening. The only lucky part of the whole thing is that she didn't kill him, That's the only lucky part. But I like it because she damn near almost did kill him, And then, of course, you get the reveal, and they don't even know how to react to each other because they can't believe the circumstances and stuff like that. It's brilliantly done, if you ask me. It's really well done, and it's a ballsy move from Scott Gimple. And if it was Denai and Andy's choice too, ballsy move from all three of them. It's a really well done idea. I know not everybody's for it, but again, it's another piece of this episode I'm gonna defend. I think it's a great way to have them have a reunion. And for anybody that says that the reunion was too early and stuff like that, well, keep in mind, people would probably also complain if the reunion was too late, So you can't please everybody. That's the thing, I loved it. I loved everything about it. And no, I thought the reunion was perfectly done. I thought it was a brilliant way to bring the characters together. It was unique. It wasn't anything we've seen before. And for that, I think it was very well done. So post your comments down below. Of course, we'll probably do another Q&A, so post some more Q&A comments down below. And of course, we'll use them for probably a Q&A, probably Friday. Yeah, probably Friday. So anyway, guys, thank you all for watching. And oh, by the way, before I go, thank you, Roblox Arrow, for creating that brand new Q&A intro, by the way, the one that you guys saw in the opening scene of the video. Thank you very much for the updated intro for The Ones Who Live. He does a great job on those. He's my go-to guy for Q&A intros, so hope you guys enjoy his work as well, too. And anyway, of course, if you're new to the channel and you enjoyed this video, make sure to click the subscribe button so you don't miss any other videos of The Walking Dead. Make sure to follow me on Dan's The Walking Dead Reviews on Instagram, guys. And of course, I'll see you guys very soon for more videos of The Walking Dead universe. Enjoy the rest of the day, guys, and peace out.